What does it mean to fear God? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So fear is necessary. When we think of the word fear in our context, we typically are running immediately to the idea or concept of being afraid. And that's not all that's included. There's a measure of that that's true, but that's definitely not what is insinuated or implied when we are encouraged to fear God or hear from Peter to conduct ourselves in fear. The fear of God is not merely a dread of Him, as if He is a hard taskmaster or a vindictive judge. The fear of God is a holy reverential fear of offending Him, but not just holding Him in high regard or being in awe of Him or showing reverence to Him. But it's a step beyond that. It is a holy reverential fear of offending Him, but it's also a tender concern to please Him in all things. We might think of it this way. It's a filial fear. It's a fear that's born in reverence through a spirit of adoration. Because we love Him, we want to please Him. So think filial fear as opposed to slavish fear. It's a longing to obey Him, a longing to please Him because of who He is, because of what He's done for us, because of the relationship that we have with Him. In fact, thinking about it with love is helpful because most of us would think being afraid and being in love are drastically different. Perfect love casts out all fear. So it's understandable that we would think of these in a contrasting fashion. But the fear of God is the flip side of the love of God. It's two sides of a coin. They are inseparable. To fear Him is not at all inconsistent with loving Him. To fear Him is not at all inconsistent with us being quite confident of His love for us. If we fear Him, it's because we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that He loves us. We believe with our whole hearts that He loves us. He has demonstrated His love toward us in the gospel. The fear of God is the flip side, the guaranteed aspect that comes along with the love of God, with loving Him. We could say it this way: fear of displeasing Him is the counterpart to loving Him. Those that we love, we desire to please. If we love God, we will desire with our whole hearts to please Him, to obey Him. We will take serious what He has said in His Word with regard to how we arrange our lives, the choices that we make. This fear of God, conduct yourselves in fear, is consistent with love, and not just with love, but also with assurance. Because the fear of God drowns out all lower fears. It drowns out all lesser fears. We all have hopes and fears. The problem is, most of the time, our hopes and fears are too low. We hope in the temporal. Our fear is based only in the temporal. So we're hoping and fearing temporary things rather than eternal things. We should hope in God. We should fear God because He is eternal. And then all lesser fears, all fears in this life, all temporal fears are drowned out if we fear Him in whom there is no shadow of turning. Him who is unchanging, the one who lives forever and ever.